We're back. We are so fucking excited to be back.
Hell yeah.
It's literally been such a long time. We're sorry. We miss you guys. But unfortunately, this is not our main source of income. So we do what we can with what we have.
Yeah.
So let's update you guys on what's been going on, right?
Thank you so much. I'm so sorry. I'm still working on an adjusting here.
Güey, no
My
mames.
apologies.
Nos fuimos por 5 minutos, güey.
Sí.
Y regresamos y no sabemos hacer nada.
Exacto. Estamos como nuevas, así como que we're setting
¿Cómo
up
se
the
conecta
lights?
la cámara? Las luces, ¿qué pedo?
Chingados, se nos olvidó la tele. Ahí vamos por la tele. O sea, parecíamos completamente nuevas.
You
like
guys.
we've never done this before.
It's been real.
Yeah.
We've been going through a lot of changes. A lot of things have been going on in our lives. And estoy súper mega contentísima de estar de nuevo contigo.
Me too.
Aquí,
Sí.
compartiendo el escenario.
In our element.
El escenario aquí en la casa de Michelle, así tipo, ¿qué oña?
Con shots y todo.
Oh my God, con shots y todo. Okay, for our inauguration, and I'm going to sip on this because this is a double shot.
Yeah, same. I'll just do like a little traguito.
Montes. Tranquilos, hijas.
We have already been pre-gaming, okay?
Eso. Saludcita.
Salud.
Como siempre, que Dios me los bendiga.
Yay.
Vámonos.
Ay, Dios, tengo miedo.
Saludcita. Bueno, raza. El último episodio fue con nuestros primos, and we love them so much, and we are so excited to have been able to host them.
Mm-hmm.
And we will be hosting more people soon. Pero por ahorita queremos decirles lo que hemos estado haciendo.
Sí, así es.
We've been traveling, dude.
Yeah, we pre-filmed
Yes.
episodes that were released, and we wrapped up our very first official year of filming and actually getting in front of the camera, because this was we were preparing, and like she said, this is not our first source of income. I mean, we'd love to.
Seriously.
But your girls gotta do some work. We did some traveling.
We gotta pay the mortgage, we gotta pay the vacation, we gotta pay it all, baby.
She got a mamalona,
Yes, I got a mamalona.
Have we shared that in the podcast?
I think so.
Yeah, did we?
We talked about me dreaming about getting a troca, and fucking look at me. July,
Yeah.
I got a fucking troca.
She did.
I got it. I did it. We did
It's
it,
fucking
Joe.
awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
What have you done since?
Dude,
since our last episode with the primos.
Since our last episode, I was barely starting school. I was barely starting my master's program. If you guys don't know, I'm getting a master's at USF in Urban and Public Affairs. And you guys, today's topic is about how that's been going for me. And it's so amazing to be back in school. That's all I have to say.
It's awesome. I love school.
Fucking amazing.
Yeah, I love school so much. If I could be in school for like a lifetime, it's crazy to say, because some people it's like, oh, I hate school, blah, blah, blah. But some people, I'm like, honestly, I hated high school. I graduated high school, got into college, and I was like, wow, I love it here.
No, I love school so much. And being in school, and part of it helps with my anxiety of like, puta, ¿qué voy a hacer en realidad con mi vida? Because being in school, se te quita esa presión de, no te preocupes por una carrera ahorita está tranquilo, estás persiguiendo la carrera ahorita, tú no te preocupes por la chamba, tú nomás échale ganas a la escuela y se acabó. So, en eso estamos, gracias a Dios. And I want to talk to you guys about being first gen and being in a master's program.
Yeah.
And what that means, and have a conversation with you about it. But Michelle, tell us, who traveled first? Me. I went to Hawaii.
Yeah.
Bro.
Wait, when did you go to Hawaii?
Hella last minute. My sister was like, hey, we got a timeshare. My uncle's having a timeshare. So I ended up going to Hawaii. Fuimos a Waikiki. Let me just tell you guys, Waikiki está chulísimo. Si no han ido a Waikiki, tienen que ir a Waikiki, por favor. Porque la verdad...
Yo nunca he ido a Hawaii.
Ve a Waikiki, güey. Waikiki está... No manchen. We went to Waikiki, but we stayed at the Aulani Resort and Hotel. It is beautiful. It's the Disney one. And I absolutely loved it. It was a super last minute trip. It was 6 days. I realized something too about vacationing. I can't last more than 4 days at a spot.
¿Neta?
Con mi ADHD, dude, no puedo.
Sí, es bonito cuando vas y viajas a muchos lados. Like, for example, I actually went on vacation. I went to Mexico. Remember, I went to...
Dude, this bitch took the fucking trip of... You went to 2 places.
3.
No, you went to Mexico. You went to 3 different countries and then you went to EDC.
Ah, sí, cierto.
So she's been traveling fucking hella.
Yeah, I love traveling. I mean, I got this tattoo in Paris because I genuinely, I found my happiness in traveling. I can't get it together. Yeah, there. And it's, for those of you listening, it's a little heart with a little airplane right below my wrist. And I got this done in Paris because I absolutely love traveling. And I feel like I found a sense of healing there. And Christian, my chicky baby.
Oh, Sushiki baby, shout out.
Yes, love you, baby. He is also a traveler. So we were just like the perfect match.
You guys.
So we were supposed to go to Europe. En lo que era septiembre, medios de septiembre, pero el pedo es de que el Delta virus came in and just, you know, everything was shutting back down, and we were just like, honestly, like, it would be Christian's first time going to Europe, so we didn't find it to be something where it might not be, or we didn't find it to be worth it because we were going to spend a lot of money in Europe for Christian's first time and everything be shut down. It just didn't make sense.
Right.
So what we ended up doing, he's like, hey, how about I just go meet your family in Mexico? Like, I mean, we're fully vaccinated and da-da-da. And we were like, fuck it, let's do it. So nos fuimos a Michoacán, llegamos a Guadalajara.
A Michoacán,
Anduvimos en Zamora, en Pátzcuaro, en Quiroga.
Bro, she took him to the fucking Michoacán trip of a lifetime.
I grew up in Camécuaro, like going to Camécuaro every single day. And this is like a lake in some nearby Zamora.
Yes.
And I was literally swimming there every single day. And so for me to show Christian, you know, my family, my heritage, my roots, where I was born, literally I took him to the hospital I was born, all the houses I lived in.
You didn't tell me that.
Yeah, I took him to the hospital I was born. Fuimos a todas las casas en las que vivía en Tangancícuaro.
Ella nació en Tangancícuaro, por si no sabían, ¿eh?
Que yo no nací en Tangancícuaro.
No nació en Zamora.
Que mi hermana fue la que nació en Tangancícuaro. Mi hermana y mi hermano fueron los que nacieron en Tangancícuaro. I was born in Zamora, which
Tú eres la de provincia, güey.
Sí, yo soy la de ciudad. Yo soy la fresa, ¿ok? Yo soy la fresa de la familia. Y el resto son como que son de ranchito. Ay, no sé. Mi hermana salió un poco ratchet. So, and it shows.
Nati.
Which hopefully we'll have her in this podcast sometime soon.
Bro, I showed up to the house right now. We were going to set up. And Dennis, I love fucking Dennis so much. She was just hyping me up. I got the copete and new hair, everything.
Yeah, she got a fleco.
Cambio un fleco? Is that what you call it?
Yeah, other people call it fleco. I learned that in El Paso, Texas.
Oh, perdón-moi.
Cuando me puse yo el copete, me dijeron, oh, fleco, ¿te pusiste fleco? I'm like, fleco? Sure.
Copete. Acá en los de California decimos copete. But anyways, I fucking love running into her. Her energy is amazing. She's so fucking hilarious. We have to have her on the podcast.
Yeah.
And we also have to have my sisters on the podcast too.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like the dynamic.
And it's like, we really need to have all of our family members on the
for sure.
podcast.
So y'all know why we are the way we are.
Exactly.
Entonces, pues anduvimos allá, le enseñé, lo llevé a pasear en all the houses I lived in, donde mi papá tenía el negocio, todo. Y después nos fuimos a Pátzcuaro, donde hacen todo lo de, o sea, del Día de Muertos. We weren't there for those dates, but we told them like the movie Coco was actually based on these areas, blah, blah, blah. Like the real Mama Coco's there, the guitar, everything. So we went around there. We really wanted to go to Uruapan because I love Uruapan.
Dude, yes.
But we didn't... No teníamos mucho tiempo.
Perdón, yo pensé que por el narco.
No, porque miedo no. Miedo no.
Es que, güey, la neta, we live over here, so we're extremely privileged and we're extremely safe.
Yeah.
And we have privilege by living over here.
Right.
And we have safety as one of those privileges. And I think that if you don't fuck with them, they won't fuck with you. And a lot of people know that during like December and during those times that it gets busier, people don't usually get fucked with because there's so many people, and tourism is one of the biggest contributors to the Mexico's economy.
La economía, sí, la mera neta, pues no sé. I've never been to Cancun. And let me just tell you that Christian was like, we have to go.
Oh, you have.
We have to, because obviously when we went to Zamora and all of that, we were with my family, and then when we were gonna our final destination was Colombia. So he was like, well, I want us time, so let's go to Cancun. We made a reservation. Fuimos a Isla Mujeres. Allá, baby making practices, but no baby.
Todavía no.
Es nomás pura práctica.
Todavía no.
Estamos en mucha práctica. You know what I mean? And then, I mean, oh, shit, I wouldn't be drinking. And then,
no pasa nada. El primer trimestre dicen que yo, bueno, dicen pues, ¿verdad? Que
no.
I literally always tell people I'm pregnant. I fuck with them so hard and I'm drinking. They're like, what the fuck are you doing? I'm like, first trimester doesn't matter. It's okay. Don't worry. I swear to God, watch me one day get pregnant and then be drinking and not know I'm pregnant and then realize, oh my God, I was drinking during my first trimester. What the fuck is wrong with me?
Let's not say that. Let's hope that you're aware.
Supuestamente dicen que en el primer trimestre pues ahí va creciendo y pues el tequila nutre, ¿no? Como que dicen, pues, ¿no? ¿Nunca han dicho
sí.
eso? ¿Cuándo dijeron?
¿Quién dice?
No, pues me imagino.
Creo que los altos de Harvard.
Los altos de Jalisco. Allá dijeron.
Los altos de... No, de Harvard.
No, de Jalisco. Somos mexicanas.
Pues con qué razón dicen eso.
Ay, Dios. So you went to Cancun for the first time?
Oh, yeah, I did. I went to Cancun and then we were there for a short amount of time. We did the whole explore, you know how it's Xcaret, explore and all those things. We did the explore one. And then we ended up in Colombia, which was a blast. And then, yeah, I had an absolute...
México, Zamora, Michoacán,
todo.
Cancún, Colombia. No, qué lujo, ¿no?
Sí.
¿Por qué no invitan?
Pues te dije, güey. No digas
She's invited me to Colombia a lot of times, and I just haven't been able to go.
One time I was like,
because I've been investing in a $2,000 camera instead.
Yeah, right. So, which I hope you can see the quality.
Shout out.
Do I look prettier?
We have a new camera. We're gonna eventually we want to have 3 cameras. And we need to monetize
provide
a little
you guys
bit more.
with different angles.
Con los ángulos así de mi double chin acá.
Así y luego con el ángulo perfecto.
Exactly. Dude, yeah, so you went to Mexico and then you went to, where'd you go?
Oh yeah,
Vegas.
And then I came back and then a couple weeks went by and then I went to EDC, which was fucking amazing. It was my 3rd time going to EDC. Oh, and then I have a crazy story. Pues I found a little reggaeton, you know, area with this DJ, first in the silent disco, and it was like reggaeton, you know, like blasting. And then the following day, we really didn't have anybody to watch for like a certain amount of time. So then we ended up finding like this reggaeton artist, and then I just started dancing my ass off. I was kind of drunk, of course, but not kind of, I was pretty drunk. And I started dancing my ass off, like yo solita y sola, you know, yo perreo sola y ahí baile. Y que viene uno de los producers o de los encargados, promotores ahí, dicen, hey, would you like to come on stage? And I was like, sí, but of course I was with my chiqui baby and Mike, our friend, that I was like,
mi vieja no me subo,
1 for 3, you know what I mean? So then he was like, yeah, come on, let's go.
Fuck
so
yeah.
we got up on the stage. I like had to climb up like a dead ass, like a ladder. Like I went up a ladder to go on top of this like stage, and everybody I think thought that I was part of the
you were like
entertainment.
Machine Gun Kelly. Did you guys see Machine Gun Kelly on the fucking ladder going like, yeah? No.
I'm like, no.
¿Qué referencia es esa, prima?
Sí,
no.
¿Quién?
Machine Gun Kelly.
Machine Gun Kelly.
Machine Gun
Kelly. Nah,
bien
ese güey me cae gordo.
Bien
que está saliendo con la Megan Fox, ¿verdad?
Sí, ahí anda pues con esa
la Megan Fox me caía bien, pero los gustos como que no. Anyways, so I got up stage, right? Y estoy así como, haz de cuenta que todo está el crowd like below me, because this is like a high stage, right?
Yeah.
Y estoy a un lado del DJ así, y yo baile así, y como que todo el mundo me veía, y luego veía uno que le andaba dando bien, y luego le hacía así, como que lo señalaba. You know, I would point to him, I'm like, hey, y luego me miraba así. And then, obviously, I told Christian, I'm like, I'm sorry, but I'm here to make some guys happy. And I saw some guy from, like, the back in the middle, like, throwing me, like, the fishing rod, you know, like, pulling me in, y ahí voy yo así, como, like, shitting my titties.
Güey, ¿por qué no promoviste el podcast? No, pues, wow.
You know what I thought? I thought about making like a totem, because everybody tiene como sus totems y sus señaleros y todos esos. I want to make one next time that I go to EDC that's like the shape of the cactus.
El cactus?
Ajá, y ponerlo así y ponerle a bunch of LED lights y poner así el no pues wow. Like that'd be sick.
That'd be fucking
Imagine
amazing.
if we all go in May and our señalero is a no pues wow podcast.
That would be lit. Stay tuned. We might just do it.
Yeah, man.
A lo mejor me animo y voy a EDC porque yo no soy de... I love rave music, but I'm not a raver. If that makes any. I'm a homebody.
EDC is different though. Something to keep in mind.
Okay, I'll lo considero.
Porque te puedes subir a los juegos.
¿Cuáles?
There's literally rides.
Oh, there's
like fair rides.
Oh shit.
Like carnival rides. Sí.
Oh, cool. Okay, maybe.
O sea, go pay $400,000. $400. I'm sorry. $400.
400,000 lo de una casa en Texas de 5 cuartos, 3 baños.
To go ride the carnival rides with cool ass background music with the actual DJ playing in the background.
Okay, so get this. I got an idea. And I think I've seen this only in a class. But business idea, and you guys can please steal it so I can join your gym. I'm not a gym person and I'm clearly not in shape. I mean, it's been a little rough, the pandemic and everything. Just kidding. No, it hasn't. It's been me. I should be in the fucking gym. Pero, we should have a rave gym. Purely fucking EDM music on every Friday and Saturday night. Have a fucking DJ. You go, you work out. Classes during the week. Cycling classes with fucking bomb ass LED lights.
See my face?
And I don't give a fuck if you don't like rave music. Don't sign up for this gym membership. Period. Like, no va a ser un gym de viejitos unless viejitos like that EDM music. Wait. Imagine walking into a gym and all they're playing is fucking Troy Boy, like just fucking awesome EDM music. Chris Lake, 24/7, John Summit, Tiesto, todos, güey. Todos. O sea, Fisher, holy, I'm losing, boom, boom. Imagine it, dude.
Y ahí tú brinque, squat.
You're
squat,
fucking
brinque, squat.
And then we can have different nights where we have like a salsa night. We're just bombing fucking Latin music.
Zumba.
Where we have like a heavy metal night where we're bombing like, you know, we're blasting like this fucking music that's going to hype you up. Mm-hmm. And maybe for older folks, it's not going to be as appealing. Pero para eso tienen el country club. Para eso tienen su pinche country club. So I got that fucking idea. And I was like, I thought that was really good. Obviously, you need like a lot of investors and shit like that to get started. But
I think that'd be sick as fuck.
It would be sick as fuck. It'd be like a one-of-a-kind gym for sure. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I know people in the gym setting, they love showing up. They love having their headphones, being in their zone. You can't be shy in this gym. This is like a rave gym.
Like like EDC
no
vibes.
Judgment.
Literally like judgment.
You
free
can work
zone.
out on Molly. You can work out on ecstasy. You could be rolling and curling. Like
we're not here to test you.
No.
We're here to make you lose some calories while you're at it.
Exactly. We're not here to do any of that. But anyways, So I'm really happy that we've been traveling, and I'm really sad that we haven't been able to film. So we're going to really we've been really busy. I do live in the city. She lives in Sonoma County. So it does get a little difficult to get together.
Yeah.
But
we're fucking here.
We're here. So let's talk about this program a little bit. And one of the main things that have come up by studying urban and public affairs is we study things from like public policy, economic history. And right now, one of my classes, Urban Power Seminar, one of my classes is economics for social justice. Mm-hmm. And so I never thought that I was smart enough to ever even think about the economy in a certain way or look at the economy or be like, oh, wow, I can understand this is happening because of that. Like I never thought of myself as that type of academic or scholar where I can really say, oh, wow, like I can look at micro and macroeconomics and I can conclude X, Y, and Z. Mm-hmm. And
so let's take it back just a little bit. Like, what do you mean? What is social justice or social economic justice?
This class studies.
Si quieres, mira, yo aquí lo saqué la definición. Si quieres, la digo.
Yes.
Is it social justice?
Yes.
Okay. Yes. So social justice, for those that don't know, because I had to look this up.
Yes.
Social justice is the view that everyone deserves equal economic, political, and social rights and opportunities. Mm-hmm. Social workers aim to open the doors of access and opportunity for everyone, particularly those in the greatest needs.
Exactly. Thank you so much for defining social justice. Defining social justice is important when we're talking about economics for social justice. Mm-hmm. Essentially, this class, what it's teaching us is how has the economy affected social justice within the realm of social justice.
So no nomás estamos hablando de gender.
We're not talking about just race. We're not talking about just gender. We're talking about
everything.
Race, gender, society.
Todo en conjunto.
Yes. How our economy, through our public policies, and through the decisions that our elected officials have made and shaped our economy, have essentially created the top 1% and the bottom 99. So when we're talking about, and to be specific, to not get too confusing, let's talk about economic inequality, right? We have economic inequality that we are facing. You know,
en todos lados.
En todos lados. And this has been gradually growing since the 80s, since the 60s. Since the 60s. And everything is interconnected. And it all goes back to money. And when I first started thinking about, oh my God, I'm going to, you know, go to law school and I just want to be a lawyer and I want to help people and I want to be a lawyer, I never understood that pursuing a higher education and pursuing a master's would open up these doors to be able to study what actually matters. The systems that we're in, to put it in perspective, the systems that we're in have made the bottom 99%. By cutting labor laws, by busting unions, by not allowing people to thrive because of monopolies that are created, because the rich you go through the loopholes and they don't have to pay their fair share of taxes, and they have it all on paper that it's okay, but that's because of the lack of regulation and loopholes. So I want to share some information and some facts, and I want to talk about a specific economic model. Okay.
So it's crazy to say while you find your place. I was going to say that, you know, a lot of people say that money is the root of all evil. And I think I disagree with that.
What do you think the root of all evil is?
Greed.
Yes.
I think money is absolutely meaningless
if the human doesn't put the value to it.
Exactly.
Money can have a lot of value or no value.
Exactly.
Money can have value. Crypto has value now. So we're seeing these shifts in economies, and we're seeing these shifts in economic dominant powers.
Porque el dinero puede existir. Pero el pedo es de que, you know, everybody wants more of it and they want an abundance and all of these things, you know. For some reason, this thought came to my mind when you were explaining all these things, when you said it all ties back to money. And I'm like, shit, man. And it's all your human characteristics and your whatever emotion of whatever what is it called? Like, I guess it would be like, it wouldn't be a sense, but like greed.
El sentido o no es emoción. ¿Qué es
greed?
It's a state of being.
Yeah, exactly.
Greedy is being like a state of greed is a state of being.
Yeah.
So prior to
that's crazy.
So
you were going to talk about a particular system, you said?
Yeah, a particular economic model.
Economic model.
Yes.
Okay.
So this economic model took about in like from the 60s and on to the 80s. So in the 60s there was a strong middle class. In the 50s, there was a strong middle class. You know, we had come out of the Great Depression, and then we had gone through World War II, and then we had gone through all these wars. So during the wars, there was a lot of economic production, right? We were building.
Like we were pumping our systems.
We were pumping our systems by building machinery because war is profit.
Right.
So when we were out of that war and we were into this transitional period of, okay, we're going to shift. We're out of the war. So where is the labor force? You know, how are we going to continue having people working, right? And that in combination with deindustrialization. So technology is advancing. So we started creating more not robots, but more automation. People didn't have to build cars all by hand.
Right, like we didn't have to do like pico y pala, pues.
Sí, exactamente.
Ya había máquinas que en lugar de hacer tu suéter a mano, ya ahí viene la máquina y te lo hace, o sea, manufacturers and stuff like that.
So as we begin to deindustrialize and as we begin to shift our economy into a more automated economy, there needed to be a certain sense of how do we maximize profits? And that would be by cutting labor. You can't pay too many people good union wage jobs because you're not making the surplus value that you want to make in a company, right? So a company produces this shot glass and it costs $2 to produce a shot glass. But I pay you 50 cents an hour to produce a shot glass. So perdón, disculpa. It costs $2 to produce this shot glass. So you can produce 100 of these shot glasses that are sold for $2.
Or sold
For $2.
So
and I only pay you 50 cents an hour.
And what's the cost of production? Like 10 cents?
Right. 10 cents. Right. 10 cents.
Okay.
So the cost of production is 10 cents. I pay you 50 cents an hour and I sell it for $2. You don't get the $2. You get what I pay you.
The 50 cents.
You get the 50 cents.
Yeah.
So in there, it's what's called surplus value. Right? When you are a union worker, you are entitled to a portion or a percentage of that surplus value. You have rights, you have health care, you have really good benefits, what we call benefits, right? Like health care, paid sick leave, all this stuff.
Essentially, what a union is, I didn't even know that unions existed until maybe 2 years ago. This is crazy.
Yeah.
And I'm fucking casi vieja ya, voy al tercer piso.
No, mames.
But anyway, so what is a union? A union is a labor union is an organization that acts as an intermediario.
Sí, es el intermediario
its members
los miembros
and the business that employs them.
Yes.
So the main purpose of the labor unions is to give workers the power to negotiate for more favorable working conditions and other benefits through collective bargaining.
Right. So in the 50s and the 60s, there was a lot of labor laws. There was a lot of unions, and you couldn't work past a certain amount of hours. You had all of these protections, right? You weren't overworked. You had to have overtime, all of these things. And we still see things like overtime now, but the labor laws have changed so much so that there's loopholes that overwork the American.
Say they're abolishing the unions.
Yes. So they busted unions during the Reagan era.
Oh.
They busted unions. They shifted the economic model into liberating our markets, letting capitalism just thrive and do its thing, and essentially kind of like the survival of the fittest. Like the more people consumed, the more people produced, and like they just wanted to make it seem like, oh no, if we liberate our markets and we take out the government from the market economy, the economy is going to thrive and we're going to have a strong economy and we're going to be a strong country. So neoliberalism, essentially, and I'll define it, it's a form of capitalism in which the state deregulates the economy. So I'm not going to tell you as a government, I'm not going to tell you the private corporation, you have to hire people on union wages. You have to hire people on, you have to give people breaks, and you have to give people this, and you have to, right? They deregulate the economy, and it destroyed unions. It decreases taxes on the rich and corporations, and it defunds public goods. So having public goods isn't good for the neoliberalistic state. Okay, giving out free healthcare, it's not going to make us money. It's not going to make us have a strong economy. And while repressing and policing the poor, particularly people of color. So,
because they're the ones that are willing to do anything and everything,
and they're the ones that are going to get the worst fucking jobs. While we have, this strong middle class that's going to get these higher,
richer and richer.
Exactly. Well, essentially, the middle class has been crippling since neoliberalism was able to come about in the 50s and 60s. Yeah.
That's crazy. You want to know, complete side note, now that we're talking about unions?
Yeah.
I don't know if you're going to talk about this, but maybe you will. It takes so many coworkers of your own corporation for them to demand a union.
Yes.
Or something like that.
And you're threatened. If you even want to strike, if you want to demand unions, you're threatened to get fired. Yeah. You're threatened to lose your job. You're threatened to lose. And the poorer you are, the more poor you are, the more desperate you are, right? The more fearful you are. So it's in the interest of the top 1% to make us fearful, to make us feel fear, and to have us living paycheck to paycheck. Yeah. They don't care. It doesn't matter to them. Right?
Yeah. And I believe right now, I heard on the news, literally yesterday morning, I want to say, I was listening to the news because I turned them on my Alexa, and they were saying how in Buffalo, New York, the Starbucks employees got together.
Yes.
And they're actually signing so that they are the very first Starbucks under union protection.
Yes. Yes.
Crazy.
Yes.
I didn't know. So I'm like, so all it takes is for the employees to gather around, and then all of a sudden you're part of a union?
Yes. So with these loopholes and this deregulation in our laws, in our public policy, things like that happened. You didn't have to, you weren't a union anymore. You could hire whoever you wanted, and you can have people competing for labor. I'm a bread maker and I make $5 an hour, but then comes this person and they're willing to take $4 an hour. That's why when you get hired at any company that isn't union, everybody has a different wage. And I can guarantee you the people that are the newest have the lowest wages. And you're not allowed to talk about your wages because they pay everybody differently. Mm-hmm. They pay everybody differently.
That's like corporate America.
Yeah, exactly. There are no laws that say, well, there are laws. I'm not going to say there are no laws, but there are not enough laws that protect unions and that allow for unions to happen. And there's a counter to all of this that we're talking about. And I only want to talk about neoliberalism for a little bit because I want to talk about what it means to me, right? Mm-hmm. So we recently studied, we're studying all of this, how neoliberalism has shifted our economy and how it's created and increased economic inequality, specifically wealth inequality and income inequality. So wealth is what you create through property, through assets, through stocks, bonds. It's the crypto you trade, and income is the money that you make.
Right.
Okay. So there is a big difference between having wealth and having an income. If you have an income that, you have your income, you have your bills, and then the leftover is your savings. If you have a wage because of this neoliberalistic system, which I'm not going to get too deep into, but we can do it on another podcast to talk about this. But I want to talk about wealth versus income inequality. If you have savings, but it's not enough savings, how can you create wealth?
This is how you know she's a lawyer. It's wealth versus this. She's stating the case.
Like, how can you? So if you have a savings, but you don't have enough savings, you have your debt is increasing because you don't make enough money to sustain yourself. So you have credit card debt and you have borrowed money from other people and family members. How can you invest in stocks if you're living paycheck to paycheck?
Sabrá Dios. I gotta go break my back somewhere else, I guess.
You have to get
I'm not just gonna go break my back to specifically work to just do the investment. You know what I mean? I'm gonna just break my back, work so that I can pay my means.
Exactly. So like the less money you make, the less of an ability you have to create wealth.
Correct.
Which essentially wealth reproduces itself after a specific amount of wealth you've created.
Unless wealth spread for the bigger
unless dogs. You have fucking invested in Dogecoin and you made it. Great. Good for you. Love you. Here for you. Happy about it. But what they're talking about in this, and this is a specific, we're talking a specific author. His name is, I don't know his first name, but his last name is Piketty. Yes. So the ratio of wealth to income is rising in all developed countries. So essentially what Piketty is saying is that people are making a certain amount of money. They're creating an output. And by this, you're producing shot glasses. And you produce $100,000 worth of shot glasses. But the company is only paying their employees $5,000. So you have a $95,000 surplus that's going to the wealthy, right? And we know this. This is like basic inequality, right?
Right.
Because of the lack of regulations, because of the shift in the economic dominant model of neoliberalism and liberating the markets and letting capitalism be capitalism. Because of that, we are in this state. And so what he's saying is that we shouldn't worry about income inequality as much as we should worry about wealth inequality. Because even if I make $50 more an hour, I'm not going to create wealth that the top 1% has in my lifetime. I'm not. There is absolutely no way that I will create the wealth of Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos
if you keep doing what you're doing
by making $50 an hour more. Mm-hmm. So even if income inequality goes up, we will, of course, there's a lot of beneficial factors. We'll have a stronger middle class. People will be able to buy more things, consume more things. You'll have the boat, the second property. You already have that, but you'll have the boat and the second property. But when you have wealth inequality at such a massive rate, the 1% doesn't even need to work anymore. They don't. Their wealth is just reproducing itself.
Yep.
But and what he's saying is that they only have to essentially reinvest 1/5 of their wealth
back
to
into
be able
the
to
economy?
produce. Yeah, reinvest it back into the economy to be able to produce the same amount of wealth they've been producing. But they don't do that.
Greedy fuckers.
They invest it all. They take all their wealth and reinvest it. They don't give a fuck. And they're producing more and more. And essentially, when we talk about income inequality, we need to make more money, right? Women are making...
para poder grabarles más badass episodes.
Exactly.
Y sin preocupación alguna. O sea, aquí de tú, yo y la comadre, y aquí con ustedes también, aquí un cafecito o un tequilita.
You should do me a favor, Michelle, and look this up so you can share it with everyone watching us. Show up man versus woman income ratio. And I think a number of different stats will come up. Women make a certain amount of money to every man's dollar. I believe it's like somewhere around like 30 cents to every man's dollar. And I think like black families make like 16 cents to every white family's dollar, which is insane. So aside from wealth inequality affecting us at massive scales, more than income inequality, think about this. Aside from that happening, it's affecting people of color at even more drastic measures. People like us, like Latinos, Black, Indigenous families, and Asian AAPI, like all minorities are being affected at larger scales than white people.
Yeah, I mean, I cannot find as far as
you could just even look it up in the images, but like it was just like a crazy number. It was a crazy number.
I mean, I definitely see a difference. I see a gap.
There's a huge gap.
It is. There is like almost double. I think on number one in 2016, women's income was 41,000, I guess, average. And then the men's was 51, which in the earnings of men and women in 2016 was 80 cents to the dollar. Yeah. Which is higher than actually I was expected, but on average, women earn 80 cents for every man's dollar.
That is probably white women. Not gonna lie. That's probably white women, because women of color make way less to every man's dollar.
Let's see. Let me see if I can find some statistics.
You should. I think Robert Reich. I love him so much. He's like an economist from UC Berkeley. He's a professor at UC Berkeley. But what are your thoughts on all of this, Michelle? On this idea of wealth inequality, of Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, and like a 1,000 elite families.
Yo la mera neta del planeta, tengo un diferente pensamiento en todo esto.
Ok, cuéntamelo.
Y no lo quiero decir porque, oh my God, a veces como que hay gente como que ya todo el mundo se ofende por todo, la mera neta. O sea, uno ya ni siquiera puede salir y ponerse enfrente de una cámara y decir lo que piensa. Pero yo siento que hay mucha gente huevona.
Sí.
Entonces,
mira,
no,
just kidding. Yes. No,
what we're talking about is the social, economic inequality.
Social justice. How economic inequality is affecting people of color.
Exactly. It's affecting women of color. Entonces, estamos diciendo en todo esto, yo siento que todo esto va a pasar. Te voy a decir por qué.
Okay.
Bueno, I have way too many thoughts, but siento que esto va a pasar porque I feel like our new generations, such as Gen Z, our generations, we don't see that way eye to eye. Yeah. The people who saw that way, I want to say, they're still in their 60s, 70s, y siento como que todo eso va a pasar. And I think that we have a good case and a good opportunity if we continue to make awareness of all of this.
Yes.
To truly make a change and a difference in the near future.
Yes.
However, I do believe that if you do bust your ass, and I do believe that if you are just an extremely intelligent person with a purpose, you have every right to the loopholes. And this is where I may be like, no, shoot, a lot of people, like, I just, for me personally, I always see this, you know, like, for example, Christian clears over 3 figures a year.
Yeah.
I want to clear more than 3 figures a year.
Yes.
The problem is we are being taxed up the ass.
Yes.
And they still want to continue to tax the people that make that kind of money.
Yes.
And I'm just like, why? Okay, so people, when they say take money from the, tax them higher.
Okay, but you're not, but this is a thing. When we're talking about, and the one of the solutions is like a certain sort of tax reform. Mm-hmm. This tax reform applies in no way, shape, or form to people like you and Christian.
Or it does not it's just apply, like a solid thing of like, is it like a solid percentage?
Let it be known. It's above like $2 billion. Like if you're making more than like $1 billion or $2 billion, it's above a certain amount of money, probably more than like $1 million. Mm-hmm. That you're getting your wealth above that certain amount is getting taxed at 2%. Mm-hmm. This is Jeff Bezos and mm-hmm. Elon Musk. Mm-hmm. They pay the same amount of property taxes. Mm-hmm. That's a wealth tax. Mm-hmm. It's not, because property is wealth. Mm-hmm. They should have to pay more because they make more. And I'm not talking about people that make 6 figures, or talking about people that make over $1 million should have to pay so much money in taxes that they literally lose most of their money.
Porque mira, también te voy a decir, lo que yo a veces noto es de que mucha gente, y la mera verdad lo estoy diciendo porque lo he visto, yo trabajo en un banco.
Yes.
They come, they take out their disability check or their social security, they don't leave nothing in the bank.
Yeah.
And it has to do with the fact that they go stack it under their mattress, mm-hmm. because they want to continue cashing in on your paycheck, my paycheck.
Yes.
Because they're too lazy to go bust their ass
and get a job.
And that's a problem. Or get a higher pay. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So I also do think that there needs to be like okay, you can work, there's unemployment, there's all these things. I think that you can have a certain amount of time and limit where we can help you.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then after that, you got to go figure it out, because the help is going to be none.
Get this. If we paid people more money, if there was a state minimum wage that said we're going to pay everybody $25 an hour in California, that means that because we're going to pay that minimum wage, we're going to cut unemployment. So unemployment benefits are going to get extremely rigorous, and it's going to be almost impossible, if not difficult, to get unemployment. Disability, the same. If we fully fund our unemployment offices, our disability offices, we can create more, we can increase our standards. We can have investigators. We can hire social workers to be like, you're okay. We saw you, we caught you, we did this, we did that. The problem is that those systems are not properly funded. Mm-hmm. We're saying we can argue here.
And be able to have all the ones that actually do have a disability.
Yes.
That don't have the ability to actually go do the work, actually deserve the money, and to be rightful to not only what they get, but even maybe so more.
Yes.
Pero la mera neta del planeta, yo a veces digo, tax them more to feed the, you know.
Hay mucha gente huevona. So we can't just say, let's tax the rich without reforming the fucking system. It's not how it fucking works.
Exactly, because I plan to be rich.
It's gonna fail. You can't tax the fucking rich without reforming the system. Exactly what you're saying. Hay gente huevona. What they're saying, these economists are saying, it's better to have una persona huevona en una unión, because it decreases the gap. And decreasing the gap, we're all better off. Mm-hmm. We're all better off. We're not there's less people living paycheck to paycheck. So think about that. You want tax reform? You want to increase the minimum wage? Set higher fucking standards for unemployment. There's people committing all kinds of fucking fraud. And it's gonna happen, Michelle. It's gonna happen. You can't avoid it. But if you increase wages, if you're making $15 an hour on unemployment and the minimum wage is $25 an hour, guess what, babe? You're probably going to want to go get a minimum wage job.
Or we're going to have people rioting that the government isn't helping them. No, you can't make anybody happy.
Michelle, pero ponte a pensar. Hay formas de promover el work ethic. And this is all social and racial. And we're almost out of time. So I don't want to get too deep into it. Pero I love that you mentioned that. Because it's so easy for me to come here and say, no, pues hay un problema y este es el problema. Pero tú me estás diciendo a base de tu experiencia, lo que tú ves.
Sí.
Hay gente huevona. Unos cabrones del PG&E fueron y se sentaron afuera del proyecto de mi papá 8 horas y empezaron a trabajar después de las 8 horas para que les dieran overtime. Eso a un mexicano lo caga. Lo caga, lo emputa porque un mexicano es trabajador. Uno sin papeles es más trabajador que esos cabrones.
Y antes de pedir limosna y los ves en la esquina vendiendo sus fresitas, sus naranjas, preguntando por trabajo, you know.
Pero déjenles digo una cosa. Estos maestros y economistas y scholars están diciendo que es mejor que esos cabrones ganen because we can't survive without a middle class. What the fuck is this? This is not a fucking monarchy.
Yeah, we need people that do those jobs. You know what I mean?
And we need people, first of all, yes, we need people that do those jobs, but we need a middle class.
Yeah.
We need a stronger middle class. That's the bottom fucking line. We need less people to live paycheck to paycheck. Poor people are never going to stop existing. Dios quiera un día me salga yo de la maldita pobreza. Pero
I plan on being rich, bitch.
And laziness is something that has to be addressed. But this economic model that's creating economic inequality to the rates that it's creating it and the effects that we're seeing it, having people live paycheck to paycheck, having people lose their kids because they can't support them. It's baffling to me. And I'm learning all of this, and I would have never learned this in law school. I would have learned somewhat of it. But I just thank God so much that I'm back in school and I'm able to fucking understand a lot of these different things.
It's amazing because really you learn so many different aspects and things that I feel like people are just filled with, no offense, ignorance. And that I don't mean that in a negative way. I mean like they don't know.
Por tu privilegio, puedes decir eso.
Sí, por mi privilegio. No, but some people have the okay, so here's where I'm so troubled because I feel like they have the resources. They just choose not to. There's a lot of people that, hey, Google, YouTube, you know what I mean? Like, go get educated. Sometimes
there's a lot of podcasts out there that...
In finance.
Yes, in finance.
And like, help yourself. And by helping you help a lot of us too. Yeah. Because guess what? People need you. People need you were born with a gift and an ability to do something amazing, and you need to know what that is, and you need to go out there and do it, because a lot of people are lost. You know, they're so discouraged with all of the, you know, rent here in California. It's kind of rough, and you don't know what to do. You're kind of lost. Follow your heart, follow your dream, and do what you have to do. And if we're controlled by a union, you're never going to have to be, or I'm sorry, I don't know what I'm just saying controlled by a union. Because
if you have more protections, more rights, more labor laws, if you don't have to work more than fucking 75 hours a week just to make it.
Exactly.
If you can work 40 hours.
You can literally work on what it is that your calling is.
Exactly.
And you're going to be able to survive and live and be yourself in a happy way.
Yes.
Make your ends meet.
Yes.
And just live a normal life.
Essentially, si ganan más dinero, pueden trabajar sus 40 horitas que tienen que trabajar.
O sea que si te gusta dibujar pescaditos con burbujas en una escuela, en un pizarrón, tú puedes ir a hacerlo.
Exactly. Pueden invertir su tiempo en lo que les importa. Pero también lo que dice Michelle tiene razón. ¿Cómo ustedes, si we're facing las olas del mar, están fuertes contra nosotros los pobres? Pero ¿cómo ustedes pueden buscar una forma de salir de esa maldita pobreza?
Hay mucha gente que nomás se queda allí como que, oh, well, this is my reality. Yes. Like, no, mijo. O sea, despierta, wake up, remember that you're alive. You only live one life. Don't settle.
And yes.
Do what you have to do. Do what you love. Listen to your calling. Go take a class. Get educated. Nothing in this world is impossible. And I feel like we need more of this kind of awareness so that people understand the economy. A lot of times people are like, oh, they get so intimidated. But honey, you'd be amazed.
Yes.
You would be amazed on how much you can actually understand. And once you do understand, then you'll know where you need to contribute and what needs to be done and what you need to do in order to better your community, your lifestyle, your kids' lifestyle, your great grandkids' lifestyle. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like today, we live the day and, you know, we're not sure if we are here tomorrow. So you might as well. Yo no sé.
Chinguenle, hijos de la chingada.
Go break your back somewhere, man.
Yo estoy estudiando eso, pero lo veo una perspectiva de latina, de mexicana,
Exacto.
más que nada. Lo veo una perspectiva de que sí, ellos están contra nosotros, pero en realidad no las pelan. No las pelan porque nuestros padres llegaron, son ese pinche ejemplo. Hay unos que tienen their entire construction company. My dad has a towing company. He has all kinds of companies.
Sí.
But he has his towing company. He made it out. He's not rich, but he's also not.
He's not
in
choosing
that
to stay
state.
where
He didn't choose. He fought for his economic freedom.
Yep.
So, con eso los dejamos. De nuevo,
What
los
are your
amamos.
thoughts? Como que estaba muy intenso el topic.
Muy intenso, la neta. Sorry. But I love you guys, and it's something you have to know.
Yeah. Anyway, I love you guys.
We love you guys.
Como que me dejé todavía así como con la palabra. Así
Suspenso.
como que, ay, como que les quiero decir más, pero...
Obvio.
Como
Así,
obvio. Estaremos de regreso, me imagino.
Yeah, we
por
definitely have to do a
aquí.
part 2.
Yeah. I
Fuck
feel
yeah.
like this is a great topic of conversation,
Dude,
and
it's
I feel
insane.
like we need to elaborate. What are your thoughts?